Evening. Welcome to Tuesday's tutorial. Today we're going to look at Warrior One. So it's something that you do loads and loads and loads in any yoga class really, especially a vinyasa, you'll do loads of them. So Warrior One is, we start off in kind of a lunge position. Now a lot of the time you'll transition, if you're doing a vinyasa, you'll transition from a downward dog into a warrior or a lunge or countless other things. So if you're not sure about transitioning into the lunge or into the warrior, then look back at a video that I did a few weeks ago about transitions and that will help you there. Otherwise, sometimes in a hatha class, you'll come to it from a mountain pose where you'll step 1 foot backwards. So in our Warrior One, if you have any questions, by the way, pop them in the box. So Warrior One, we have a deep bend in our front knee. So it's kind of like a lunge at first glance. So we have a deep bend in our front knee. So the front knee is more or less over the front ankle. We're pressing down into both feet. The back foot is on a 45-degree-ish angle. So it's pointing towards the top corner of the mat. So I've got my left leg forwards, my right leg's back. So my right toes are pointing towards the right top corner of the mat. Ish. There's a little bit of wriggle room. Now what tends to happen as we find this lunge position, especially with the toes pointing off to one side, is that our hips tend to open. Can you see how now my hips are pointing towards the long edge of the mat? But what we want to do in a Warrior One is we want to keep the hips closed. We want to keep the hips pointing forwards. However, we also want to make the pose work for whoever is doing the pose at the time. So a lot of the time, if you're in a Warrior One and you're trying to square the hips, especially if you've got anything going on with the back knee, that can be really pretty uncomfortable. Because often what you'll hear being cued is to line up both heels. So that means that your feet are more or less hip width apart. My right knee isn't amazing. This does not feel good. So what I need to do so that I can get my hips square is I need to take my back leg out to the side a little bit more. That gives my hips much more space so that I can square them without getting this horrible twist in the back knee. If that still doesn't work for you, if it's still uncomfortable, don't persevere with a pose just because it's been cued in a class. If it doesn't feel good in your knee, you get one pair of knees, not one knee, one pair. So if it really doesn't feel good and you can't make it work in your back leg, come onto the ball of the back foot, take a lunge. You're getting the similar benefits in terms of the strengthening of the legs. So we're pressing down equally into both feet. We're pressing down in the back foot, we're pressing down into the outer edge of the back foot. So that's the pinky toe edge of the foot. So it might be quite tempting to roll onto the big toe edge, let the foot cave in. We want to press into the pinky toe edge of the foot. The front knee, you'll hear cued a lot of the time to keep it over the ankle. Now that's because if you have it back, then just someone watching. Hi. If you have it further back, then it's not doing you any harm. You're just not getting the full benefits of the pose. So it's not building up as much strength in the front leg. If you have it overshooting the front ankle, now this is something that you get cued a lot, is don't let it overshoot the ankle. For me, when that happens, my back foot starts to do weird things and I can't press it into the mat anymore. So I've now got more weight on one foot. So it affects my alignment, but it'll actually build up more strength. If I could achieve it, it would build up even more strength in the front leg. But be mindful, because what we want to do is we want to keep the knee tracking over the pinky toe edge of the foot or towards the pinky toe edge of the foot. As the knee goes further forwards, you'll find that it starts to rotate inwards, and that can cause some not so good twisting in the knee, so we don't want that. So, which is why we tend to cue to keep it over the ankle. Other things to be aware of is that this is a slight back bend. I've got quite a mobile lower spine, so I tend to flare my ribs quite a lot. So in a Warrior One, it can be quite easy to really stick your bum out, find this big back bend, my ribs are coming really far forwards. It's not really doing me any favours. So we want to draw our ribs back. So think about lifting through the top of the head. So someone's got your head on a piece of string, they're pulling upwards. So your spine's long, it's not leaning forwards. But both feet have an equal amount of weight in them. We want to give the tailbone a little tuck, not a really dramatic tuck under, but just a little tuck under, just to protect the lower back from this little back bend that we've got. So here, my arms are in the way. Here is with the back bend and my ribs forwards. Here, and pull my ribs back, lift through the top of the head and gently tuck the tailbone under, and it just gives that lower back a little bit of protection. And then we reach through the arms, so we're reaching the fingers up towards the ceiling. With our arms, I'm going to swap legs because my front leg's killing. So with our arms, we want to find a little bit of outward rotation of the upper arms, so rotating the upper arms away from each other. Imagine that in your hands you're holding a netball or a basketball and you want to throw it behind you, so that rotates your pinky fingers towards each other a little bit, and this rotation will switch on your shoulders. Let the shoulders be relaxed, away. We don't force them away from the ears, but just let them be soft. They don't need to be up here. If you have anything going on with the shoulders, you can have the arms wider. If you've got anything going on with the shoulders where this doesn't feel good, keep the hands on your hips. They can be out to the side. They don't need to be up here just because that's what it'll do on the photos. In a way, looking up towards their fingers. It's a great challenge for the balance, but I don't tend to cue it because looking up can create quite a lot of tension in the neck. So we spend our day on phones and on computers and hunching our chairs, so we're already building up plenty of tension in our necks. We don't need to add to it. So I cue more of a neutral alignment in the neck, maybe a little lift of the nose, so like you've smelt something bad, but a little sniffing position. And that's it. And of course, make sure you do everything on both sides so that you're balanced. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments or get in touch. Let me know. And let me know what you want me to cover next week. If you have any requests, tell me. I'm here to help you. And I will see you soon. Bye.